Hey everybody, it's Brian, aka Hero Pool. I hope everybody's having a great day. We have a wonderful fireside chat coming up. We're talking to none other than Mr. Telecoms, Micky Watkins. Micky, I hope you're doing great. And then also this CEO whose birthday it happens to be. When you see this, it might not be his birthday, but we want to wish him a happy birthday today. Dan, ZenGate CEO. And we're going to chat a little bit about the partnership between World Mobile Token and ZenGate and kind of where that came from, and then also a little bit about what the vision is with that partnership. So first off, let's start off with a little introductions. I'm sure everybody knows Mr. Telecoms. If not, you should. So Micky, tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe a little bit of vision that you had for World Mobile and how it all got started.
Yeah, sure. Micky Watkins, I'm the CEO, the founder of World Mobile. I had a vision that everybody has the right to connectivity. So around 5 or 6 years ago, started to put it into place and make sure that that vision was absolutely possible. Not possible from me only building out a network, but actually by introducing a sharing economy. Started off in a very small village in East Africa, Zanzibar. Now we're across 4 different continents with around 15,000 nodes and more than 1 million people connected.
Yeah, and I happen to be an Earth node holder and part of the community, and it's great to see the growth that you guys have done. Dan, can you tell us a little bit about ZenGate and the vision that you had behind it and the Palmyra ecosystem and the Palm token? Just give us a little bit of a wrap up there.
Sure. Yeah. So Dan Friedman, CEO of ZenGate. I also am. I'm not just the CEO. I'm the founder. Haha. It says it right there. Anyway, so where did it come from? Well, I've been working in emerging markets for quite a while. I worked in emerging markets back when I was working at Input Output and the Cardano ecosystem for all this time. And so emerging markets is where you basically have the most impact, and emerging markets is where you have the most problems for access. And so access to world markets, access to reasonable capital, access to just various things that we in the developed countries, in the developed world, find just, kind of basically a right, or basically something that is not that hard to get. Producers in developing economies have a problem gaining these things. And so when I set out to do my own business, I wanted to keep working in emerging economies, which are by a large part agricultural and commodity based. And so this is where the idea behind Palmyra came about, basically giving these producers the tools, the opportunity, including them in the opportunity of reaching world markets, much bigger markets than they have access to right now. And of course, taking advantage of all these different tools like traceability, like on-chain identities, like verification, proof of origin, all these different things that they have problems attaining right now with a very low barrier of entry. And so that's where Palmyra came about. Palmyra is the commodities trading platform that makes it all possible. And of course, the Palmyra ecosystem is the ecosystem that accommodates the entire journey of these producers, as well as people within that particular market that are looking to attain these products in a reasonable way, and basically know that they're getting what they paid for, which is again a big problem. So in a nutshell, that's what we're about. We're about opportunity inclusion.
Yeah, and there's a lot of synergy there, right? So opportunity inclusion, whether it be connecting the unconnected or global access to the markets. Mr. Telecoms, can you give me a little breakdown of maybe how you found out about what ZenGate was doing and how that the partnership kind of came to fruition, and what inspired you to want to work with the team at ZenGate?
Yeah, first of all, I need to say happy birthday to Dan, my good friend, and I think that's a good start. So I met Dan IOHK 2019 Miami, I believe. Maybe it was 2018, but I think it's 2019 for the first time. And we hit it off really well. And he was telling me about what he was doing in Asia, and he was supporting Charles a lot, making a lot of big moves for IOHK. And naturally, over the years, we kept in contact, and we became friends at different events. And independently, I was actually with a guy called Cardano Chef, Theo. So he was also an Earthland operator. And then the two became a bromance. They got together. They founded ZenGate, and we've wanted to support them ever since.
Wow, a bromance, Dan. I don't think you ever told me that story, so it's a
Oh
little left
yeah,
out.
it was a bromance, many years in the brewing. So definitely, yeah.
I'm sure it was. So, Dan, like I said, there is a lot of synergies. Can you tell us a little bit about how empowering people and providing access can help their livelihoods? Like you've worked in emerging markets a lot, and we see Mickey and World Mobile Token going into places. Can you just talk about how you've seen these new technologies and that kind of affect people's livelihoods?
Yeah, and Mickey can attest to this. When you give people access, and this is actually something that I remember you telling us about the way connectivity helped. When you give people access, if the opportunity is there and the potential is there, growth happens. And people just want to better themselves. And this is actually this is the example you were giving us about the village where you guys installed that.
Fisherman.
Yeah, exactly. And the village grew, and the village grew. Why? Because people it took the opportunity they didn't have
Into
for,
their own
in your
hands.
case, yeah, in your case for connectivity, and they thrived and they expanded. And so this is what we believe and what is being achieved by Palmyra, where World Mobile brings them the ability of how to connect. We give them the market of to why to connect to, because one cannot be without the other. And so this is why what we have together is so synergistic, because what we bring is that access, those tools that will give them the ability to thrive once they have the connectivity to connect to the customers that and to the traders, to the world. They can accommodate the expansion, the thriving, the livelihood that they're looking to attain. And we just provide the tools for that. Like I said, it's traceability. It's a way to prove that your product is the product that they bought. And this is a big problem. For example, this is something that the Greek olive oil industry is really fighting against. A lot of counterfeit Greek olive oil out there. And really, these Greek olive oil producers, they are in pain because up until now, they didn't have the tools to say, no, you're lying. That's not the right stuff. This is the right stuff. I have a way to prove this trustlessly. So that's what Palmyra is all about, and one of the many things Palmyra is about. But really, like I said, it's about opportunity inclusion, and you cannot do that without connectivity. You cannot do that without what World Mobile provides. So that,
I
like I said, it just makes sense.
And I think one of the things that brings that to light is we just recently released the Greek Chronicles, right? And Theo and Nicholas and Victor were over in the fields in Greece, in the olive oil fields, and there's a perfect place for a World Mobile Token air node, right? To provide them access.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
mean, let me
tell?
just jump in there as well, but just to verify what Dan is saying. I lived in Amsterdam for quite some time. I was very fortunate to live in the area of the Jordan. One of the side streets there had a shop with, I think, maybe 300, 400 different manufacturers' bottles of olive oil. So once I got to know the guy, and he knew that we were going to buy every 2 weeks, a couple of bottles of olive oil, I'd always say to him, which is the best one? And he'd pull me out one that was from Italy. And I said, wow, Italian olive oil is the best. He was like, yeah, it's not as good as Spanish though. I said, so why are you not selling me Spanish? He's like, I am. So what do you mean? He said, the Spanish olives are imported into Italy without declaration that that's done so. And then it's labeled as Italian. And then they charge you an extra $10 a bottle or $15 a bottle for it because it's Italian. So I was shocked at that point to understand that there was no traceability. And that although thought I was buying Italian olive oil, which was the best, it was actually the best Spanish olive oil packaged as Italian.
And actually, Spain is one of the largest importers of Greek olives.
There we go.
So
So
there
where
you
did it
go.
start? You need ZenGate, you need Palm in order to be able to actually be able to understand the traceability of this. And of course, internet is everything. Internet's the basis. I think it's like air and water these days, right? Without internet, it's very difficult. So you provide, especially the emerging markets, the workers, the tradesmen, the ability to be able to provide this at the source. Then all of a sudden, you've got a different world in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like I said, it just one cannot live without the other and vice versa. And like I said, that is why and this is something that I run across even here in Japan where I live. Connectivity, even in developed economies, is garbage a lot of times. Where I live is actually it's a rural area, but it's not it's not way out. It's actually like 20 minutes out of the city, and Osaka is the third largest. Well, it's actually the second largest city because Tokyo and Yokohama is like one city, but supposedly is the third largest city because Tokyo is number one, Yokohama is number two, Osaka is number three. You would expect connectivity here to be great. And you guys know, I mean, Brian, you've been on meetings with me where I'll tell you, I'm like, look, I know the dead zones.
Exactly,
I'm in the
right?
car in the middle of a populated area, and there's a dead zone, and I'm going through it. And every single time I tell these guys, okay, I'm going to be away for about a minute or 2 minutes. There's a dead zone, and look, I mean, what if you're living there? What if you have a farm there, which people do? People have rice farms there. This would be terrible. You cannot connect. You'd have to fight with this all the time, and we fight with this in Japan all the time. And Japan is a developed country. Imagine what happens in other countries that are not developed. And again, if you don't have this connectivity, if you don't have what World Mobile has, you cannot utilize what we have, because what we have, what with the tools that we have, need the internet, and vice versa. The internet needs the tools that we have, because that's basically kind of like the gateway drug to what we have, I would say.
Yeah, just to add to that as well, I live in an urbanization north of Barcelona, about 20, 30 minutes. The people around me, I don't think there's a house less than 4 or 5 million euros. There's a 5-star hotel, luxury retreat, 300 rooms. You think that there's phone signal here? We have around 2,000 people in the urbanization. 3G is the best we get, right? So I cannot go outside of my own property. Luckily, I know how to set up a good Wi-Fi network, but I cannot go outside of my own property and have a phone call. So I literally, if I need to run to pick up my kids, or I need to do something, or I'm in the car, I'm like, okay, I can't speak for the next 10, 15 minutes. Why? I've got no connectivity. What do you mean? You missed the telecom. You've got no connectivity. No, this is what I fight for, right? But it's not correct. And the cell towers, the telecom companies, they don't deem it us worthy enough for them to be profitable putting up a network. So it's crazy, whether it's in Osaka, whether it's in Barcelona, whether it's in London city center. If you've ever tried having a conference call in the back of an Uber traveling from A to B in London, it's the most horrific experience. You might as well be in rural connectivity. It's you have to go to the connectivity as opposed to the connectivity comes to you, which is not what we signed up for.
Correct. And I can attest to it living in the United States. I can't get in my car and do a meeting, right? I lose service once I leave my home. So what you're doing for connectivity is amazing, which allows people. Pennsylvania is one of the biggest potato places to grow potatoes in the United States. Most people think it's Idaho. Farmers around here don't have access to the internet in their field. So one of the things that is big with the FDA is traceability, Dan, correct? And how would those people be able to access the market without being able to access the internet? So a lot of amazing synergy, and the teams working together. It works very well together, right? So one of the other things, Mickey, is that I see a lot of synergy with ZenGate and the Palm economy and the Palm DAO is the sharing economy. You've created the sharing economy with World Mobile. Can you tell us a little bit about how the sharing economy kind of came about and what you're trying to do with that?
From us directly, the sharing economy was absolutely needed. Nobody can fix the problem of half the world being unconnected, and then half the world is unconnected. But then the people that are connected, probably somewhere close to 40 to 50% are underserved. So there's not enough trucks. It doesn't matter if you're T-Mobile, if you're Google, if you're Facebook, if you're Microsoft, if you're SoftBank, whoever it is. There's not enough money or time to be able to actually solve this problem as one or a group of companies. What you need is to involve every person and give them the ability to be able to earn from a multi-trillion-dollar industry, give them that incentive, and then ask them to help to solve the problem with that incentive. So the sharing economy for World Mobile is really, really critical to actually being able to connect billions of people, and we believe we can do that. I do see some similarities between ZenGate and Paimara and the sharing economy of World Mobile as well. I think that we've come into an era where it's like, hold on, we've let corporates lead our life. We've let big wireless lead who we are. We sit here paying a bill every month, and actually, what is the service that we're getting? I leave my house and I go from A to B. As I just said, I've set up a Wi-Fi mesh network in my property, so I've got connectivity when I'm here. But then, do I get a discount when I leave? No, I don't. Right? I still have to pay the same bill every month. Like nothing changes for me. In fact, it goes up every year. It does change. It goes up.
Yeah.
But I still don't have the connectivity. So the sharing economy is, instead of you giving away everything to the mobile network operators as they are right now, fix your own problem. It's likely that if you've got a problem, your next door neighbor also has a problem. Get your next door neighbor on. And if you do this at scale, all of a sudden you can connect millions, if not billions of people. That's what the sharing economy is for us.
And before we get, I want to talk to Dan a little bit about the synergies there, but how have you seen it scale, and how has the reception for the sharing economy been?
I like the use of the word reception. The very apt for the moment. We're seeing it scale at phenomenal rate. Well, we haven't really released it to the point where we can say, okay, the baby is now a teenager, and whatever happens. We've done our best to grow it up. So still, maybe we're 12 years old in our sharing economy in terms of growth, but we've grown very, very fast. We're seeing it adopt. We've got, I think, about 15 to 16,000 air nodes out there that are all owned by community, and it's returning them revenue. So we can only imagine that over the next 1 or 2 years, this should be millions of nodes and millions of people inside the sharing economy. And with the latest things like Hex Guardians that we'll be releasing in this quarter, beginning of next quarter, we should see you should see the 12-year-old grow up to be at least a 16 or 17-year-old ready to cross the road on their own and be trusted by their parents to function as sensible people. So the sharing economy is at that stage, and I think by the end of 2025, we should have the sharing economy probably will be almost entirely out of our control, and it will grow at a rate that we did not even predict, maybe bigger than we've ever imagined. And if you know me, I like to think big and I like to do big. But if I'm saying that, then I'm very hopeful of what this can achieve.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that it's going so well. Dan, the team at ZenGate has modeled some of the things with the sharing economy in mind. Can you talk a little bit about that and what you see the sharing economy as?
Sure. Like what Micky said, it's kind of the the universal truth of the 21st century sustainable modeling. If you actually want to do business that is scalable. Heavily centralized operations are just not scalable anymore. I mean, too big to fail is just never too big to fail. It can always fail if it's centralized. If it's centralized, there's more centralized failure points. So this is why a decentralized system is so crucial for sustainability, at least to a certain degree. You need decentralization in the way you approach these markets to, first of all, scale, to second of all, sustain, but obviously not in that order of importance, to sustain the growth and to expand the growth beyond what your centralized perception of it is, to let that baby live, right? Let the baby become its own person. And so this is why incentive structures are so important. And this is the sharing economy, right? So you put in incentive structures into this model so that the participants have a reason to do good and to grow and to expand and to really support this without you having to, to hold hands or look over anybody's shoulder or worry about all these different things, because it makes sense. And that's why these incentive structures are so important. I'll give you an example. People ask why, what if, say, okay, you're using traceability, right? You're using on-chain data. What if that data is faked? What if one of the producers fakes the data and puts on wrong data, and it's a bunch of BS? Well, yes, they can, but what is the reason to do that? If you got the other producers that are not doing that, everybody's thriving, and then this one or two bad apples go in there and start faking data. Well, number one, the risk there to risk to reward there, if the proper incentive structure is in place for the sharing economy in place, it's way disproportionate. What are they going to get from it? One to two sales, and then they're going to get found out, and then they're going to be, then the reputation is going to be nothing after this. Right. So the incentive is there to do good business, because this entire infrastructure gives you the ability to reach these markets that you don't have access to right now. Because, you do that, you fake this information. Well, you get access to like one or two customers, maybe three, right? But then it's over, then it's done. What is the point of that? And that is just one of the reasons why the decentralized incentive structure, like a sharing economy, is so important for this. And this goes across everything. This goes to everything that we're designing with the Palm economy, and the Palm DAO, for example. And again, this is something that Micky said a while back. I remember in one of our chats, you said that there's going to be a certain point where we want to have this develop to such a degree that we could just step away, and we're just going to be kind of like a, kind of like the OG player, but not really the one that's holding this thing up on their shoulders. And
I
this
think
thing
that's the dream for all of us in this space. Not step. I think stepping away is probably the wrong word, but I think
that's stepping away. Yeah, just
having the
letting it live
ingenuity
on its own.
Yeah, there's eventually someone can do a better job than we can, and collectively, definitely they can. They can achieve much more than like I've got the vision. You have the vision as a founder, right? You got to execute it. You got to take your proof of concept. You got to make sure that it works, that it functions. But there are cleverer people than us. I know you don't believe that, Dan, but there are cleverer people out there. There's people with more
I'll
time.
let them
There's
run
more
with
people with more focus on certain aspects of. And all of a sudden, you'll find someone that has learned how to bring for our side, and I guess this applies to you as well, but someone who's learned how to bring a customer on in a different way than traditional telecoms has, in a different way than we think. We're thinking out the box. So again, it's opportunity, right? It comes down to exactly what I said when I met you 6 years ago. Opportunity. If you give people the opportunity to take opportunity with their own hands, they'll often do that. How much they take, we don't know. That's down to the individual. We've witnessed it in some of the villages and the towns that we've rolled out. All of a sudden, people are watching TikTok and Instagram all day. So what is this opportunity? Maybe for me, it's like, okay, well, I imagined opportunity to be different, right? But some of them have become influencers, right? And all of a sudden, they've got a following of 3,000, 4,000 people, and they're selling local stuff. Other people have learned how to read and write. Other people have learned multiple different languages or gone on business classes to learn how to do accounting and different things. So you give someone the tools, and most often they will take the opportunity. And I don't think there's any difference between that, what mobile does, and what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's all about the tools. We give them different types of tools, but they kind of play in the same direction of, like you said, and like I said, giving opportunity, inclusion to the people, giving them the ability to have the same access as the big players do. And what they do with it is their problem. Like like you said, and I believe this wholeheartedly. You can't police everybody. Somebody's bound to just scroll around with it, and watch stupid videos and TikTok all day.
This is part of the process.
Yeah, but it's not everybody. Not everybody's going to do that, and then the people
Yeah,
that
and
do
people
take
should have the
advantage
right to
of
do
it.
what they want to do. First of all, give them that ability, right? If they want to use the internet for whatever reason they want to use the internet for, first of all, let's give them the internet, right? Of course, if they break the rules of the regulators, this is their own issue. But truth is, everyone will find something different, even if you put a piece of white paper in front of us. You know, the way that we fold it, there'll be someone that folds it different. Say, wow, right? So by having a sharing economy, by having this collective of group of people being able to participate in such things, ingenuity comes out from there, right? People, you see things that you would never imagine yourself, and that's probably the most excited I am about World Mobile.
And I want to stay on that subject for a second, Dan. I
Yeah.
want to ask you first. Working in emerging markets, doing these pilot programs, can you give me an exact story of how you've kind of seen this access to the markets that we've given to people, whether it be examples from Zambia that we're working in or Sri Lanka? Can you give me some exact examples of how you've seen it change someone's livelihood or given them the ability to do something that they couldn't do before, maybe with their business, growing it or whatever that case may be?
Sure. I mean, just one of the great examples of what we've built is actually people who started new businesses based on the access to the commodities and the products that we have on the platform. We actually have several businesses, several people from the community that started their own import businesses because now they have access to the products, to the Sri Lankan Ceylon tea, to the cinnamon, to all these different things. Others actually expanded their businesses. Like, for example, some of our first buyers expanded their businesses to accommodate new commodities because, again, they were available. On the other hand, and this is what I wanted to kind of mention before, you had we now, and as you know, Brian, we now have, and others may know as well, obviously, we have other commodities and other opportunities coming onto the Promire platform. So it's not just about soft commodities anymore. It's about lithium. It's about it's about telecom minutes, like what we're talking to Josh about from minutes. So all these different opportunities for access to markets in a very in a way where it can be dialed in, right? It's unintimidating. It's a way to really lower the barrier of entry for people, and it's just access to markets that they didn't have access to before. And the opportunity also came from basically people looking at this and saying, "Hey, can we utilize this system for, say, like I said, instead of trading Ceylon tea, can we trade lithium with it?" Yes, you can. And so now we're working with lithium producers. Can we do this with gemstones? Yes, you can. Yeah, traceability, tokenization.
Can we do this with hardware, with radios? Yes, we can.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, there you go. So it really works when you think out of the box and you have these tools and you say, okay, so maybe telecom minutes aren't a commodity, but actually they are. They are a commodity. I mean, for example, there are places in Africa where telecom minutes are being used as currency.
Correct. For many years as well, by the way.
Yeah, and then
Because
you know this very well, Mickey. So
you buy $10 worth of talk time. That $10 doesn't go from $10, right? It stays as $10, but the local currency is dropping down whilst you've still got your $10. So a lot of people in the villages have often opted as the stable coin of choice to be a telephone card.
Yeah, and it's interesting the fact that being able to trade them as a commodity and giving these people access to the minutes. That's something that has really excited me about our partnership with Minutes Network, and you know Josh very well, Mickey. So I look very much forward to doing that. Right. So there's one other thing that I just kind of want to touch base on, and that's the recent documentaries that both of the teams put out. Dan put out the Lithium Must Flow. Mickey, you guys have put out a wonderful documentary. connecting the disconnected, right? Mickey, can you tell us a little bit about that documentary that you guys put out, and then we're going to get into the one that ZenGate put out. I want to hear a little bit about the story and how it came along, and just what made the team want to do that. Obviously, I know, but there's people out there that want to know what was the motivation behind it, and then just tell us a little bit of how it affected the people.
We didn't plan to make this documentary. It wasn't on our marketing schedule. There was nothing there. But we obviously felt very bad that the natural disaster had happened. I had considered personally seeing if I could go to help. But then when a community member reached out, Oceanic Goon, and said, North Carolina needs you, is World Mobile up for helping? I made a few phone calls. Luckily, I have a friend called Charles Hoskinson who has a helicopter. Asked him if he would loan us his helicopter, and then within 24 hours of making the decision, we were up in the sky and we were delivering connectivity. For us, it was really important to be able to show deep-in, this new word that's come out recently. Is DY deep-in. There's all different acronyms for all these different types of things that are happening, but to show community-run connectivity, how agile we could be, and how we could support. So the documentary was literally one person that followed around action, and then an amazing team that managed to put it together. But I think it wasn't that hard for them because we did something that was real. And in this crypto space, there's not much that is real. That's the sad thing. So when you see real companies, you want to be able to see the real world use case. And that was our real world use case, being able to go to support the people of North Carolina in a time that they were down and out. And suffering from disaster, and we're still supporting them now. And we may go and help also with LA. We have a team in LA. All the infrastructure has been melted. I saw Elon this morning. He said that he's going to put some Starlinks up together, and he's going to connect them via Wi-Fi and make a mesh network. And that's cool, but it's not the same technology as we've got. And we can actually connect people directly on their AT&T SIM cards or their T-Mobile SIM cards or the Verizon SIM cards or whichever carrier they've got in the US through our infrastructure. So for us, the documentary was being able to show all the different technologies in the world, how they can come together, and how a community-run project can actually solve a problem that the big wireless couldn't solve in a time that was unimaginable for them to be able to solve such a thing.
Yeah, and very moving story in the fact that you were able to help so many people, because I don't know if anybody understands what going through a natural disaster like that is like. The city that I live in has been through multiple floods. My family's been through it. Not being able to connect and talk, just let people know that you're okay, right? And those people in the mountains just weren't able to do it. So what your team did is very commendable, and just thank you from me for helping those folks, because it's an amazing story. Dan.
Brian, thank you for saying that. I also know that you personally have had disasters that have affected you and your family in ways that it never should. So I realize it touched you, and I think it also touched a lot of other people as well as myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dan, I don't believe that there was really a documentary on our marketing schedule either. It just kind of happened. So kind of another synergy. And by the way, folks, our secret word for the leaderboard is synergy, if you're paying attention. So make sure that you get that secret word. Dan, can you tell us a little bit about the lithiumous flow, and just how that impacted you, and how we can impact these people's lives with everything that we're working on?
Sure, yeah. Well, like you said, it was not on our marketing schedule because it's not. I mean, I don't see it as marketing. It was a story. It was a story that. Well, look, I come from a creative background in a way. I worked in film for some years before, and so I still have that part of my brain that always kind of ticks in the back. Just and it resurfaces sometimes when it makes sense. And here, when right as we went into it, right as we kind of outlined what our mission was with with understanding and bringing sustainable lithium mining to Argentina and to LATAM, and this is based on my original my second trip there in October. After I saw this, I did not plan when I was there in October to go there and to discover anything wrong. I just went there to look at the facility. We still got to tokenize them, right? And I wanted to see what a lithium facility, what a big lithium facility looks like, what is there to tokenize, how you break it down, how you present it to the average retail investor and retail participant that just doesn't understand and should really have to understand how really old this stuff in the lithium production chain works. They just need to understand enough to make an educated decision that yes, this is something they want to be invested in and want to be a part in. And so when I went there, all these, I started talking to and this is in the documentary, I started talking to the engineer, and this was like the top engineer in the facility, a really knowledgeable guy. And you just kept asking him. I said, okay, what is this machine supposed to do right here? I don't really know. They don't really tell me. I'm like, well, what do you mean they don't tell you? They just brought it in. I don't know what it does. Okay, what about this? I don't know. Color code, I don't know. And this is not because he's not good at his job. There wasn't given the information that is needed for him to do the rest of his job. And I said, okay. So maybe it's just not his purview. It's not something that he should, know. I mean, maybe, the guys that build the cars in the factory don't need to know how to sell those cars at a dealership or something. Maybe it's that. No. He says, I need to know this. I just don't know. And this is a problem for me. I can't do my job right. And so this is where this idea came from. When we went back, I said, you know what? We took a couple of months to think about it. And we said, you know what? For Catalyst, I think, and just in general, not just for Catalyst, in general, I think it makes sense to really use our technology to bring sustainability to this. We can fix this. And not just from the STO part, but from actually tokenizing. When we tokenize it, we can fix this. And so when we actually went there, right away, that part of my brain that still kind of, still swims in the whole film industry thing, I said, you know what? There's a story arc here. There's something there. We're on a journey right now. This is not just a business trip. There is a journey right here, and we should document this journey. And so we did. And we didn't plan it. I mean, of course, we had an idea of how it was going to turn out, but not exactly. Not exactly. We just kind of went there, and when we said, okay, we wanted to do this, couple of change of plans, but ultimately the arc was there, right? So, and that's why we decided to film all of this. And a lot of these decisions were made as we go, right? We didn't set the whole thing out from the start. As we went, we said, okay, Theo, you film this, I film this. Just film basically what we're doing, but put more footage on the devices and see what we can do with it. And when we came out of it, when we went through the journey, yes, it was a journey, and it was something that rang true to people, that really made sense to people. Because when we kind of showed it, and remember, I remember if you were the one that was looking at the screening, I was still kind of thinking, is it just in my mind that it makes sense as a story, like as something that people would want to see? And then people said, no, this is really captivating. This is interesting. This is something that I want to watch. And this is not just a commercial for Palmyra. This is a journey for doing something better and bringing something and bettering an industry that needs it, and kind of helping people out there that need it. And really, it all goes back to why myself and why Micky got into this, is to really, the impact, right? The impact is because you make impact. You go to these places. Why did you start in Africa? Why don't you start in the US? I'm sure you did that because that's where the impact was, right? That you went to Zanzibar. That's where you saw that impact. That's where you knew that you could put this in there. There would be impact for that. This is why we're doing what we're doing. This is why we went there. This is why we're going back there. And this is why we're doing what we're doing in Greece, in Sri Lanka, in Nepal, in Zambia, because it makes impact. And this impact is not just on paper. This impact is people's lives. And
when you're there on the ground, you see that and you feel that. Palmyra, I guess also, I don't know very much about the lithium mining industry. I know a lot more since I watched your video and have spoken to you, but there's a lot of inequity there, right? In terms of the money flow, the revenue generation, also environmental issues. So I can see the Palmyra platform actually supporting a lot of that by distributing it and allowing a sharing economy to come in for the lithium side, but also to be able to track and trace the performance, the behaviors, the processes that they're supposed to be following. And I'm pretty sure that the world is not made up of only bad people. So if they have that stamp of approval and you can prove that traceability, then I'm pretty sure that people would like to buy lithium from miners that were following that and didn't have inequity amongst local communities, etc.
Well, absolutely. That's exactly why why we're doing what we're doing. We're not there to police. Okay, we're not there to police. And I said this before, and again, I don't really have a real kind of eloquent way of saying this, so I just kind of blur it out. But I'm not an environmentalist in kind of the political sense of it. I am a realist. But you're not gonna see me, I don't know,
Throwing
anyway.
trash out your window.
Your dad, I know everything. It's okay. You don't need to.
Anyway, you get what I'm saying. And so when I saw this, I said to myself, you know what? This is bullshit, because it's not only dirty, you're also killing other people's ability to do business. You're killing their opportunity. It's not just the environment that you're killing their opportunity, because that same desert grows olives. They grow olives in that desert. You dump a bunch of garbage in that desert, they're not going to be able to grow olives. Animals live in that desert, right? They use these animals. They need these animals, right? Even if you're talking about it in an industrial way. For example, alpacas. Some of these alpacas, they graze in the desert. They get poisoned by this stuff. There's people out there that they get cancer because the water is being polluted by these guys. I mean, that's not okay. That's not okay at all. You're killing their opportunity to have a normal life. I mean, that's not okay. And so, yeah, like you said, it's all about, really, it's not about policing those guys. It's about giving the guys that are ready to follow these to follow this sustainable way of doing business, which is actually a more profitable way of doing business in the long run, because of the sustainability. Because the sustainability creates scalability, and scalability creates prosperity in these businesses. And these people, if they want to utilize this technology, and they do, because we have a list of people and list of organizations and mining companies and basically a pretty long list that want to utilize the technology and build it in this way. If they build it in this way, then you leave it up to the consumer. You leave it up to the person or the companies or the Teslas of the world that are sourcing this lithium. And, it's Tesla. Look, from all that I know and all that I've read about Elon and how he does business, and we all talk about him on the first, on the first name basis, like we know him. I don't know him. Mr. Musk. I would, he's not the type of guy that would say, screw these guys, scroll these villages over there. They're getting poisoned by this water. I'm going to get it from this guy that sells it to me half a cent cheaper than these guys who are actually not going to kill everything around them. They're just not going to do it. Not in the 21st century. Not with all of this access to to information. To information that actually companies like World Mobile provide with connectivity. It's also something that I saw somebody ask today, and I've seen this asked a few times. And actually, I asked this, and I know the answer. Is the world just more terrible today, or is it just there's more access to information? And
very philosophical.
Yeah. Well, it's actually no. I believe it's just there's more access to information now, and and that is through connectivity, and of course, some of these things, not all information is good, not all information is happy, but it's access. And so when you provide this access, you can then, yeah, of course, we're gonna get a lot more drama on the internet because there's a lot more access to the internet from all these different places that still had drama there, but just didn't get across the world because there was no connectivity there. But in the same way, it's a way to basically kind of equalize this playing field where you got people basically, like I said, raping raping environments and raping communities and destroying everything around them just to save $2. And then the guy next to them is going to say, no, I'm not going to do that. You know what? Because that's going to kill my business in the long run. That gets across because of what World Mobile does and the connectivity it provides. So that's why it's so important. You're muted, Brian.
I'm muted.
Someone's gonna do it. It's okay.
Otherwise, you hear me typing, and sounds like you're going through a hurricane. So, but just to kind of wrap this up and bring it towards the end here, as we're getting close to our time, and it's Dan's birthday, we kind of want to let him maybe go have see his family.
My rotisserie chicken is already cold. It's going back in the microwave in a minute.
But Mickey, just to kind of close it out, what excites you most about the partnership with ZenGate? And then, Dan, I got one last question for you, and then we'll just say our goodbyes.
A key part of World Mobile is partners. So having partners that are traveling the world, that are providing their platform, that needs something like World Mobile in many cases to be able to provide the connectivity to be able to use the platform. But growth is often through partners. So for us, it's a very exciting opportunity. We're very proud of what Dan has done since he's left IOHK, what Theo has done, what you're doing, Brian, and the whole of the ZenGate team. And we're looking forward to supporting. Of course, it isn't just a support in the case that we're supporting because we love everyone here and we're good friends. Actually, we see benefit to World Mobile massively here, where we can have these partners go out and install infrastructure inside our sharing economy, start node cells inside our sharing economy to be able to connect the rural areas that need the connectivity. Not just for Facebook and for Instagram and for TikTok, but also to be able to utilize tools and take opportunities into their own hands.
Yeah, very, very exciting. And it is wonderful to be a part of the sharing economy and for the team to work together. Speaking of the team working, Dan, the team's been very hard behind the scenes, working a lot lately. And with that, the public sale is coming up January 21st.
That's right.
Can you tell the people a little bit about what is coming with the public sale, and then let them know how maybe they can participate?
Sure. Well, what's coming with the public sale is TGE after the public sale. So this is our last push to basically put Palm Economy out there. This is going to be the birth of Palm Economy. We're going to launch the token. We're going to launch all these different things that we spoke about. Staking is going to go live. We have another product in the Palmyra ecosystem. I shouldn't talk about it yet, should I, Brian?
No, we'll let them hang on a string.
Well, okay. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good. It's something that the community has been asking for quite a bit, and you're going to have that access now. That's coming online. You're going to have a way to utilize your Palm to participate in Endeavor, the STO, the tokenized STO platform. That is going to basically be a way to access all these different lithium opportunities, gold mine opportunities, all these other commodity conglomerates that are looking to fractionalize and tokenize their entire operations. And again, part of the Palm Economy kind of world, right? As I explained it before. Yeah, all of this is coming. We have 3 centralized exchanges lined up, really nice ones. They sent us flowers, or maybe will someday. We have, we're working with DEXs. We got, we have thousands of holders now just from the ISPO and for participation in the sales. So it's ready to drop. It's all this is ready to drop. Is going to be a thriving ecosystem. It already is a thriving ecosystem, but now it's going to be a thriving ecosystem with a token. And finally, we're going to be able to launch it. Yeah, we had to, we had to hold back a little bit to get things lined up. And now I am happy that we did, because we're in a great place for that. We have all these wonderful things, some of which have been announced, some of which haven't been announced. We are in multiple jurisdictions. We have opportunities. We have so many opportunities. We have to scale up We literally have to scale the company up right now. Yeah, so to participate, you can go to the T-1, and you have to KYC. And this is, again, why do we KYC? Because it's a way to really make sure that we future-proof the entire ecosystem. We have to. We live in a world, in a regulated world. We work in regulated markets. And for us to be able to do business, to do the business that we want to do, to grow the ecosystem that we want to grow, we need to future-proof this ecosystem by doing so. So those of you who can, please go to T-1 to their website and register. Go through KYC so you can participate. Those of you who can't will be able to, of course, still join the ISBO. Those of you who want to can then, of course, participate by going to the different exchanges, DEXs and SEXs that we're going to be listed on following right after TGE to get your Palm. And again, the Palm is the lifeblood of the ecosystem. Everything from incentives to participating in a Palm DAO, to be able to participate in Endeavor, to be able to just reap the rewards of the Palm economy and generate passive income for yourself from the transaction fees that happen within the Palm economy that basically get converted through staking rewards back to the holders of Palm that have their Palm staked. All these things are coming online. It's getting overwhelming even for me just thinking about it. It's finally we're here, Brian. Finally we're here, Mickey. And I you probably felt the same when you were launching World Mobile Token. It was a culmination of years of work, aligning things up, and making sure that it drops at just the right time and in just the right way. And yours is a success, a huge success. And we took pointers from you, and thank you for the help that you've given us.
You're welcome.
And our hope, and my hope, is that we will be just as successful.
You're gonna smash it. I always knew you were gonna smash it. You're gonna smash it. You got something real. Just got to push through, get the community support, and make sure that I think the most important piece of advice I can give, without the fire on the Fireside chat, is that just empower people. You empower people. You put the right incentives. You find something that's real, and everything should go as you plan.
Absolutely.
Well, Mickey, thank you very much. Dan, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Dan. Thank you very much. Good luck with the TG. Good luck with everything. And we're here backing you up and supporting you. Looking forward to deploying some infrastructure with you as well.
Thank you very much, Mickey. We love you guys as friends and as colleagues. Really looking forward to just doing more business together, and it's like it only makes sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me any other way. So I'm very excited to keep doing what we're doing. Excited to see you soon. At some point, we keep meeting in different parts of the world all the time. Wherever on this planet I'll see you next, it'll be great. And yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging in here with us. Thank you, Brian, for hosting this for us.